Hello and welcome along to episode 2 of this FM Touch Injury Crisis Challenge. Today we take United to the dreaded noisy neighbours, Manchester City, for the second time in 3 days actually. So let's have a look at what's been happening since you were last with us. First of all, as you can see from the league table, we're still only 2 points off the top, remarkably, and got the 6 point cushion down to 5th place Liverpool, which is all important for the board expectations. So let's look at the results. Obviously, you were last with me for that first game, the horrific 5-1 defeat away at Liverpool. Since then, we've had pretty much a sea of green and yellow, actually, which is nice, until the last game against Manchester City in the FA Cup, where we went down 3-1 and looked rather uninspired, to be honest. We've got City again today, but this time in the Premier League, so let's see what we can do. Other news, since you were last with me, we've had the January transfer window. Ed Woodward came with a lovely message at the start of January to say, here's an extra £96 million, taking our transfer budget to around the £140 million mark. We've sold a couple of players on, and we've managed to bring in 4, I think, world-class players. So let's have a look at them one by one. Firstly, the most obvious one. I know we didn't need defenders, but he was too good to turn down, and for £25 million it's a steal, was Toby Alderweireld. From rivals Tottenham, if we have a look at him, he's clearly a C above the rest of our players. We look at our assistant manager's opinion, I think he's the best centre-half at the club. And most importantly for me, trying to get away from the Mourinho style, he's a ball-playing defender, which is most important. Next, we have a central midfielder. Obviously, we've got Ander Herrera out for the season, Pogba out for the season. It's an area we greatly needed to strengthen. We only really had McTominay as a substitute to Fellaini and Matic at the moment, so this is a big one for us. We have had to pay £58 million in total. There's a few add-ons in there, it's not all of that up front, but he's a world-class midfielder. He's young, he's 25 years old now. I think he was 24 when he joined, his birthday in February. Oh no, sorry, he was 25, he's just going to turn 26 this month. It'd help if I read, wouldn't it? But he's a good ball-winning midfielder. He's got the attacking ability and the technical ability to help us out as well, and should form a good partnership with Matic. Next, we were desperate for a player on the right. We've got so many injuries there. Juan Mata, Sanchez, Lingard, all out injured, and I'm sure there's one or two others that I've missed out as well. So we've been playing either Valencia further forward or a poor Ashley Young, or trying to switch Rashford and Martial to a wing they're not comfortable on. So we've bought in Pione Sisto. He has come in for £25 million from Celta Vigo. The main reason I was happy to get him is there were a sea of clubs after him. So I think Atletico Madrid and Barcelona wanted him, and City and Chelsea as well. We've managed to bring him in. He's a natural on the right. He can play as a winger or an inside forward, and is pretty decent on both feet. He's as good as what we've got there anyway. So if you have a look, the only player who's rated better on the left is Sanchez, and on the right he's joint best, and Mata isn't fit, and Sanchez is just coming back to fitness now. Last but not least, we went all guns blazing for this man, an attacking midfielder, can play in the central role or further forward. Mateo Kovacic, again from Real Madrid, a world-class playmaker. He's exactly the type of player we needed. As you could see from our earlier results, we were struggling with 1s and 2-0s and a couple of 0-0s, so this one was a huge signing for us to get over the line, and hopefully he'll settle in quickly. So if we look at today's game, let's look at the team we've picked. Okay, so we've still got no De Gea, he's out for a long term, so we've got Sergio Romero in goal. Since you were last with us, Antonio Valencia got injured, so we've now got Darmian at right back. New signing Alderweireld and Eric Bailly in the middle. Luke Shaw still at left back, we haven't been able to sign a replacement, it wasn't a priority area. In midfield, we're going to play slightly more defensive today. We had been playing a 4-2-3-1. We've just dropped Casemiro and Kovacic both back a bit just to try and cope with City's threat, especially after the FA Cup game the other day. So Casemiro's in a holding role with Kovacic and Nemanja Matic. Sisto's on the right. We've gone for Rashford above Martial on the left, hopefully with a confidence boost having just signed a new contract. And Romelu Lukaku is fit and back again up front. A couple of returns today. For the first time we've got Juan Mata and Alexis Sanchez back on the bench, but as you can see we're still barely a squad of 18 with 1 or 2 more. We've lost, among others, Daley Blind and Marcus Rojo. McTominay's gone out on loan, and I think Smalling's about to go to China as we speak. So let's get into today's game. We've dropped back to a standard mentality. We had been playing in control mentality before, but we can't risk that after Saturday again in the Cup. So let's get into this one and have a look. See if we can do any better than we did 4 days ago. We'll also see what sort of size City put out. The one benefit we did have was that Vincent Company picked up a knock. So you can see he's not playing today, but it still looks a pretty worrying lineup for us to be up against. So I don't rate our chances too highly. Let's have a look and see what happens. We've got City, we would expect to dominate possession. We haven't really been in great form. I know we've been getting results, but again, it's been very Mourinho-esque despite my intentions to avoid it. We've really struggled to score goals. We've often been outplayed by the opposition. They've often created more chances than us. So it's been down to more luck than judgment or finding a good tactic at the moment. The only benefit we do have is our morale starting to creep up now, having had a few results in a row. I think when you set the challenge mode to hard, it gives you A, more injuries, but B, also a lower morale. So hopefully, as we gradually build that up, results will be easier to come by. But the opposition certainly isn't getting any easier. The one benefit we do have to going out of the FA Cup, obviously, is that we're not in any other trophies now, so we can just focus on the league, and hopefully, for the most part, we'll just have the one game a week now, which with our threadbare squad is going to be a necessity, because if we get a couple of players out, I don't fancy the likes of Ashley Young coming in for a game, or Phil Jones, and being able to pull off the same sort of ability as players like Alderweireld, for example. Not a lot happening here, really, so we're half an hour in. Nothing seems to be happening. City have had a couple of shots on target, but they haven't been worthy of big highlights or anything like that. I would say the one worry is we haven't had a shot on target, but at this point I'll take a 0-0 at City. I know it's not what you want to hear and not the way I like to play this game, but this touch mode I've really struggled with the challenge on here. Normally, full fat FM, I'm having a lovely time. I'm playing attacking football, no matter what league we're in, no matter what team we've got, whether it's direct or short football. But here I am just struggling to put the pieces together. The morale, not being able to talk to the players, have team talks, personal interactions and discussions where you'd normally solve a lot of the morale problems. But you haven't got that in FM Touch, and it really makes for a struggle, as you can see by the way we're playing here. Hopefully, being nearly 40 minutes in, it won't be as disastrous as the Liverpool game. But as I speak, we may be about to let in a goal because this seems to be quite persistent attacking. De Bruyne there, that's not the man you want to give space 20 yards out, but thankfully he's put it wide on what looked to be his weaker foot that time. But yeah, as I was saying, with FM Touch, I've really struggled with the morale, so hopefully we can just squeeze through and get a 0-0 to keep that little points cushion to Liverpool in the top four, which is our overall goal for the season with all these players out injured. It should just about be half time now, we should just be hanging on. And it is. So that's not a bad half, really. I know the stats look ominous, but 0-0, if you'd have offered me that at the start, I would have taken it, because the couple of big games we've had away to Liverpool and away to City in the Cup, we've been absolutely pasted and behind at half time. So it's a good outcome for me. Okay, so let's get into the second half. Obviously no team talks to talk about in FM Touch. You can see there's a bit of an analysis recommendation. Let's have a look at that. It's just telling me Kovacic has got a knock. More good news in an injury crisis mode. So looking into the second half, we can see that Ederson's got a knock for them, but doesn't really seem to be affecting him because he hasn't had anything to do. And Sterling's got one as well, but seems to have run through three of our players there just fine. Romero's actually been okay in goal since. We did have a little moan about him in the Liverpool game. Wasn't a bit of a bad mood as that one went along, but he seems to have redeemed himself and made a number of good saves since. And he'll need to, because we've got a couple more months without De Gea. You can see fitness-wise, Sisto and Kovacic are really struggling now, so I think we may be going for a double sub soon. They've got a couple of players struggling as well, but I can see they've taken Sterling and Aguero off now. Okay, let's look. Sisto's looking nervous anyway, and again, Adam picked up a knock and had the messages. It gives us a chance to give Sanchez a little run out again. Let's see what he's like on the right. Oh, it's not too bad, to be honest. He's better than either Rashford or Martial out there. Kovacic is struggling as well, so let's go a little bit more defensive. We'll bring Fellaini on as a box-to-box. He'll help with the set pieces. He's actually been one of the better players so far in this save. Before Lukaku was back, he had to play up front a couple of times, so he did well as a target man there. I think he did that back in the Everton days, 5 or 10 years ago. Let's see if we can build an attack here. We haven't had one yet, and we're still not going to have one. So Jesus is coming forward on the attack now, and he goes out to Danilo. Gundogan to De Bruyne, and they're just dominating here. Schürrle to Jesus, and he's hit the post, and we get away with murder again. Bit of a weird signing that, Andre Schürrle to Man City in-game. I think he's just gone to Fulham in real life on a 2-year loan, so bit of a difference in class there. But there have been some weird transfers in this FM Touch, I must say. People like Watford and West Ham coming in for Rojo and Smalling. None of them went through in the end, but some really weird transfers going on, and Gundogan's just scored a screamer against us. And after all our defensive play and all of our hard work, you cannot do anything about that. But that's the risk with not closing people down from 30 yards. So we've got one more sub. Rashford struggling. I'm just going to make it early. We'll bring Martial on, see if he'll fare any better. I doubt it somehow. We haven't had a shot yet. We may creep forward to attacking in the last 10 minutes if we've got a chance, and it's still only one goal in it. But there's not much to talk about at the minute, and this is pretty embarrassing to be honest. But still, a slight improvement on the last time you were with us against Liverpool, so we won't get too negative. Man City attacking again here with the throw-in. Mendy puts the ball in, and Romero again does well actually, to be fair to him. So he's just got nowhere to go. There's no out ball. Lukaku's getting outclassed by the centre halves, and there's no service from the midfield if we're being brutally honest. De Bruyne is spreading the ball again nice and easy. Schürrle's just having a field day here. If he's that good for Fulham, they'll be in for a good signing, wouldn't they? Okay, let's go. Last 10 minutes, let's go all out. Let's go attacking. Let's pump it into the box. Early crosses. More direct. Try and use Lukaku and Fellaini. Fellaini's box to box, so hopefully he'll make the late runs in there. Sanchez and Martial are natural forwards, so maybe they'll get in there as well. We never know. A bit of luck. It wouldn't be deserved. We would be mugging them, that's fair, but we won't be complaining if we manage it. Couple of minutes to go, and it doesn't look like it's made any difference. We've had another couple of shots, but nothing on target, no highlights, and 5 minutes of stoppage time doesn't look like it will help us in the slightest here. We'll probably need about 6 years to score a goal in this game. 15 seconds to go. Is it going to be one last punt into the box? Martial's through, it could be, but no. Danilo back to the keeper and cleared, and that's probably just about that. Casemiro plays it wide, and we've lost. So, only 1-0 this time, not as disastrous, but no shots on target. Not much possession, but we didn't expect to have that anyway. And I wonder what that does to the league. So, we've played an extra game, because obviously this is a midweek one. Liverpool have got their game in hand at the weekend, so they could go to within 3 points. Chelsea are clawing up as well. We could be in a bit of trouble here. Still only 3 points off the top, but I'm looking down more than up at the moment. Let's just see if anything exciting's been said about the game. I said it was a real thriller in that article. I'm guessing that's from Man City's attacking and nothing to do with us. Any news there? Another one are finally loose. So again, we had that the first game we were here. And maybe they're just camera shy because we had 6 unbeaten again and then we've lost another league game now. So that's all for this episode. If you did enjoy it, please put a thumbs up on there. Subscribe to the channel for more Football Manager content from Football Manager and Football Manager Touch. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.